Okay, guys, let's just start because all of our class is going to be recorded. So you will be able to see it later on. And about upper limb, I have seen that this angle, I can show my hands, and this angle works very good. So that's why I'm going to use this angle for upper limb. Okay. So let's start with our anatomy model. Let's load it first. So we're going to go to our anatomy app. Let's just have some time to load. And okay, so first I'm going to show you all the important muscles and nerves from here. Okay, then we will go to our notes, and you will see the way I tell you everything. Like, what would I tell you? The way I tell you all the things, no one in this world, if you have seen their classes, will explain you this way. Because if they really cared about you, they would have something like look at the question patterns, it's changing, and all the things. If they really cared about you, like no one did anything, everyone's just following the EMRCs when questions are not coming from there. So what would I say? And just watch the class, and I will tell you every single thing you need for the exam, and you will be very happy in the exam hall that you had this course, and you will be happy seeing the questions. You will be happy. Okay, let me show you from first the what's wrong with you? Why are you not loading? Okay, got you. So first, I'm going to show you the most important things, the muscles first. The muscles first, or only the important ones, the ones you will be needing for the exam. Others, you just don't need it for part A. So you all know that this is our humerus. Very simple. This is our humerus. This is our clavicle, and this is our scapula. Okay. See, this is our coracoid process, the smaller one. All know still. And this is our acromion. Okay. So this is acromioclavicular joint, and this is coracoclavicular. Here we have coracoclavicular ligament. We don't need it right now. So what do we need now? First, I'm going to show you the most important muscle group from upper limb that you will have questions from. The most important ones. Let me show you the ones. These four muscles: subscapularis, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor. Okay, these four are the single most important group of muscles you will be needing for MRCS part A. Because if they generally don't give questions from muscles, no questions from muscles except rotator cuff. You will have questions from rotator cuff every year. You will have questions from shoulder injury. For that, you need to know some very specific things like C, supraspinatus muscle, and let me add deltoid. Let me add deltoid. So this is our deltoid muscle. Okay, this is our deltoid muscle, and this is also our deltoid muscle. So see this beautiful muscle. See this beautiful muscle. I just love deltoid. I just love shoulders. Now, so the most important thing you need to know from most important muscle is these four and deltoid. Let's talk about shoulder abduction. Let me show you how it works. Okay. So you don't need to know all the parts, just know like this one. See, so it will abduct the shoulder. This is abduction. On the outer side, your hands will move. So let me show you from various angles. So on the outer side, this is abduction. Now, what are the muscles here? They are working. See. Let me hide it. And we have supraspinatus under acromion, right? Supraspinatus under acromion. Sorry, supraspinatus under. Let me just hide it first. Acromion. Okay. So supraspinatus under acromion. Okay. So what will these do? Let me show you what will these do. This will do the same thing, but here is a catch. Now what's the catch? Hey, now see, no, this is 51 degree. So we are going to 28, 10. So let's just say this is 10 degree. Okay. But up to 15 degree, 22, up to, you understand that up to 15 degree, supraspinatus will do the work. But after 15 degree, up to 90 degree, this is 88 degree, right? But up to 90 degree, deltoid will work. And then over 90 degree, this part will be done by trapezius. Okay. So trapezius will do that thing. So see, this is the initiation or starting up to 15 degree, starting of abduction up to 15 degree, supraspinatus will do the work. It will start the abduction. If starting is not working, the rest of it will not work too. How? You have to help the patient to raise the hand up to 15. Then he will be able to abduct the hand. Okay. Then after 15 to 90, this is very important, deltoid. Then over 90 degree, trapezius. Okay. So this is the single most important muscle group you need to know. That is your rotator cuff from your upper limb. Okay. For part A, of course, you need to know a lot of actions in case of part B and others. Now, see all these muscles that are on backside of your hand, what will you do? They will do abduction and external rotation. Okay, let me show you. This is our infraspinatus. We all know. So now what will infraspinatus do? See, infraspinatus will do lateral arm rotation like this. Let me show you. So do you see it properly? Yeah. Lateral arm rotation. The arm is going laterally. Okay. Arm is going laterally. See? Arm is going laterally. See? Laterally. Arm is going laterally. Who is pulling? Infraspinatus. Okay. And then infraspinatus will help doing this. Okay. So first you have to raise your hand and then this one. See? So what will you do from this place? Infraspinatus will pull the hand outwards. Pull the hand outwards like this. Like this. You can see it. You can see it like slapping. When you slap someone, and for that you have to have that momentum, right? Like to have that momentum. Slap, slap, slap. So this momentum you have it from infraspinatus. You take your hand backwards and then slap. Okay. So I'm not encouraging you to slap people, but when you need to, you have to, right? Okay, guys. So next we will be hiding it, and this is teres minor. This is not important. Like you have to know the name only. Okay, you have to know the name. Another thing, what do you need to know? Let me add the nerve, and I will be telling you what do you not need to know after the name. Okay. So see, there is a beautiful nerve that is called axillary nerve. Okay, I love axillary nerve, and of course, I love some other nerves too. But axillary nerve, I love it. So this axillary nerve, what will it do? See, it has muscular branch. Almost all it has muscular branch, right? But here's a catch. Let me add the deltoid, and I will show you what happens. See, do you have? Let me show you the. Okay. So see, this area, this is from axillary nerve. Only this area. See, Let me show you from side. Only this area is from axillary nerve. Do you remember something? No matter which country you are, let's say you are from Japan. Okay, so if you wear an uniform, like if you are an army, you will have a badge there, right? Okay, so see, why not upper area? Why they don't about upper area? Because axillary nerve only supplies this portion. Look at the distribution. When you see it, then you will never forget it, right? You will never forget it. So that's why people from my course does very well. Like, just only because a few people know me internationally. That's why I have a few international candidates. But over time, over time, I will rule the MRCS world. We will rule the MRCS world, because people need change, people need updated materials. How many days people will study only those things? And all the coaching center, like in Bangladesh, in other countries, everyone does EMRCS. Like, do something better. Why can't you do that? Because they don't want, they just want a business. But yes, it's okay to have a business, but you have to give the best, na? Okay. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I just showed you that this regimental badge area. This is called regimental badge. This is called regimental badge, guys. This is called regimental badge area. Here, whichever country you are from, Russia, Turkey, Japan, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, you know that this. You remember your army officials, and you will see that they have a badge there. That's why they will tell you, they will give you a stem that axillary nerve supplies all over deltoid. But no, a big no, axillary nerve does not supply all over deltoid. It supplies only a small portion at this area. So this is the cutaneous supply. And muscular supply, all of you know that, guys. All of you know that axillary nerve will supply deltoid. We hide it. And teres minor, we forget teres minor, but we should not forget it. This is important because this is tricky. We hide it. So this is our axillary nerve supplying our teres minor. Okay. Now, supplies of supraspinatus important, infraspinatus important. Now, what did we miss? We missed subscapularis. Let's see subscapularis from the rotator cuff. Only muscle that's in front. Only muscle that's in front. Let's remove the nerve for now. So only muscle that's in front of your scapula, that is subscapular, is supplied by upper and lower subscapular nerve. All of those we have in our notes, so don't worry about it. So upper and lower subscapular nerve, what will they do? Let's see the motion a little bit, and we will know what does subscapularis do. Let me just fade it. Let me just fade this one too, and you can see. Then subscapularis muscle in action. Okay, subscapularis muscle is in action. So it does your hand like from there, from outside to there, inside. So this is called internal rotation. In, out, in, out, in, out, in. So internal rotation. This is called by subscapularis. Okay. So these are the four muscles with their work. Now, when we will have our 1 minute, guys. So when we will have our we will study from our notes, you will see, you know everything. So don't worry about it. Okay, just see it now. Now what we do, we go to. We all know this is triceps. Okay, we all know this is triceps. Just see the. Should we see the action? I love to see the actions. Okay, so that's why. Let me just show you a little bit. See triceps. Triceps is pulling the hand, like extending your elbow joint. Okay, triceps is extending your elbow joint. Simple. So let me just like this. So from here, triceps will do like this, like this. So triceps will do your hand like this. Then we forget that biceps is a very powerful supinator of your hand. Very powerful supinator. So what will I do? I will show you the supination only. Okay, let's add the muscles. Let's add the muscles. Okay, so these are biceps, our very favorite muscles. Anyway, so biceps causes elbow flexion and forearm supination. So this is our elbow flexion. Elbow flexion. So elbow flexion. This elbow flexion. So biceps is in work. Let's see the supination a little bit. What's wrong with you? Give me a moment, guys. So this is the problem. Well, let me show you with my hand. Okay. So this is the supination. This is done by your biceps. Okay. Done by biceps. Anyway, let's reload the app again. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment. I don't know what happened. I need to reload. I need to reload this app. Maybe someone else is using my app too. That's why it's doing like this, because I have given a lot of people this app access as five people can use it, and I should change the password, I think. Otherwise, it will be a problem. Anyway, let me just white scratching. Okay, so we are almost done with the muscles because they will not ask you other muscle actions. They don't ask at all, not at all. So don't worry about it. So let's talk about the bones. We all know the bones. We all know they don't ask any questions from the bones, what are its parts or something like that. They don't ask. But just to orient yourself that this is humerus. We all know that this is humerus. Okay. I mean, what's wrong with this app? Okay. So this is humerus. This is our ulna, and this is our radius. Okay. So do you need to know the parts? No. Why I don't tell you all these things? Because don't waste your time, because there are a lot of important things, and you will be overwhelmed when we end these classes, because there are a lot of things. Now only few important things you need to know, that this side, at this side we have our medial epicondyle, at this side we have our lateral epicondyle. Okay, we all know this is our radial head and this is our ulnar head. So ulna is on the medial side, radius is on the lateral side. Now it like it can be said that medial side is ulnar side and lateral side is radial side, and they ask you questions like that on the radial side, on the ulnar side. Then we go to lower. Do you need to know the parts and all these things? No, don't waste your time now. Okay, because there are a lot of important things you need to know, and it will take a lot of time if I tell you all of these things now. So you need to know the carpal bones. You need to know the carpal bones. Okay, so this is scaphoid. You can see from both sides. You can see from both sides. So it's on the radial side of your hand. That means lateral side of your hand. Now this is a scaphoid bone. Now I want to show you one thing, that in scaphoid it's there is a, see this part, see this part, see this part. So there's a gap. So there's a gap. Okay. Now why it's important? Why it's important? See this little supply, it's just up to this gap. That's why I tell you about the gap, just up to this gap. So if we have a scaphoid fracture, these tiny parts will not be able to supply the rest of it, a big portion of it. So what will happen? You will have avascular necrosis of scaphoid. Now, see, if we draw a line here, this is our distal end, this is our proximal end. That means close to heart, far from heart. Simple as that. Now, if the blood supply is coming from distal end and we are having avascular necrosis at the proximal end. Okay, avascular necrosis at the proximal end and blood supply comes from distal end. Okay, so done. So this is the important thing, and this is radial artery, and we are having it from radial artery, from radial side. Then other we all know scaphoid. Then we have lunate. Then we have triquetrum. Then we have pisiform in front, over it, on top of it. So we have pisiform here. Okay, trapezium, then trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and hamate. This is hook of hamate. See, this is the hook of hamate, and this is pisiform bone. Okay, first let's see the bones. Okay, then we have, this is our metacarpals. First metacarpal, that means metacarpal of the thumb. Then we have second, fourth, fifth, and so on. Then we have C. You need to see those things. Okay, so because we have we have their utilization later on. See, this is our phalanx, fast second. Oh my god, we have an extra in other hands, right? So in thumb we have only two phalanx, but in other four fingers we have three phalanx. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. So three phalanges we have. Now we all know it. What's the important? My job is to show you what are the things you need to see. That means my job is just to focus your eyes on the important things. Okay, so how do I do that? See, why this is important? This is important because, so if thumb has two phalanx, we have only one joint, that is interphalangeal joint, that we call IP joint. We have only one joint, and this one is metacarpophalangeal joint, or MCP. Other joints important? No, no, only these are important. So then, so here let's mark metacarpophalangeal joint in blue. So blue. So this is metacarpophalangeal joint, metacarpo. That is called MCP. Now then, IP joint. See, this one IP, this one IP. So these are IP joint, but we have two IP joint. So this is close. So we call it proximal interphalangeal joint, or PIP. And then this is far. That's why we call it distal interphalangeal joint, that is deep, or DIP. Why this is important? Just after a few moments, you will know why this is important. So very important, because I have filtered out all the unimportant things that you will not need in your exam. So everything I say is very important. Then, so these are about the joints. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I am going to add the muscles little by little. So first we are adding the muscles. So I'm adding all the muscles. So you know. So what are the muscles are important? Write down from here. Write down what are the muscles from here are important. Okay, write down. I will check later on. Then we have in arm. So then we have in arm. In arm, we have triceps and biceps. And of course, we have this is biceps bracket. I remember one thing that I was in first year, and what happened? We were having anatomy lectures. So my teacher asked me, "What is this muscle?" I said, "Biceps brachii." And he asked my friend, just so I don't have bad reputation, I'm saying my friend, but anyway. So he asked, "What is this muscle?" He said, "Triceps brachii." Oh my god. And we were so overwhelmed. Triceps brachii? Wow. That's a beautiful name to give. But anatomists have given this name a long time ago, so we cannot change it. But if I could, I would have changed its name to triceps brachii. Anyway, so then what happened? So this is our biceps brachii. We hide it because we don't need it. Then we have brachialis. Then we have coracobrachialis. From coracoid process, least important muscle. If even if you forget it for your life, it will never be a problem. Okay, guys. Brachialis little bit important. But now, so triceps, this is our triceps. Then we have what I'm showing you important muscles from arm. And after this remember you can due to stress you can mix up in exam hall. This is your arm. This is your forearm. This is your hand. Only this part. Okay. This is your hand. Remember it. Don't make a mistake with it. Like it can happen. Now this is very normal. So this is our forearm and forearm muscles. It's not working. So this is our I will tell you for our muscles. You don't need to see it. Okay. I'm just showing you the important ones. Okay. You don't need this. Okay. We hide it. You don't really need this. Just they don't ask anything about all these things. So it's better that you just skip it. Not important at all. Not important. I will tell you in notes that what you need to know. Okay. So we just need to know hand muscles. Okay. Okay, let me show you some just these muscles. Okay, only important ones. So this is our flexor digitorum superficialis. All you need to know is that where are they attached? Look, see where are they attached? I have already told you which one is PIP and which one is DIP, and you write in the chat box that which one is this joint and flexor digitorum superficialis. Where is it attached? I'm telling you where is it attached. It's attached at the base of your second phalanx of first 2, 3, 4 and 5 finger. Okay, thumb is 1. We calculate 1 from lateral side, that is from thumb. It's 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the joint that is called proximal interphalangeal joint, PIP. Okay, PIP is flexed by your flexor digitorum. I already told you. So let me show you the motion of it. Flexor digitorum superficialis, finger flexion. Okay, so it will cause flexion of your proximal interphalangeal joint only. Only proximal interphalangeal joint. This joint, guys. Oh, where am I? I lost my hand. Sorry, guys. So this joint only. Only proximal interphalangeal joint is flexed by your flexor digitorum superficialis. And of course, wrist. That's not important. I will tell you about that. About the PIP and DIP, I am telling. So that's why I'm saying that only the proximal interphalangeal joint is flexed by flexor digitorum superficialis. Now we need flexor digitorum profundus. That is a deep muscle. Okay, I will tell you superficial deep. You don't need that. They don't ask. They just ask about the actions and injury. That's why you need to know. So we need to know finger flexion from flexor digitorum profundus. So you can see it better from the sides. See, see the fingers. Distal interphalangeal joint is flexed by your flexor digitorum profundus. Flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, so this will be, so now you know what happens. Okay, so now you know that this joint, that proximal interphalangeal joint, is flexed by flexor digitorum superficialis, and distal interphalangeal joint is flexed by your flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, I'll show you the injuries first. Let me show you the muscles, important ones only. Then we need some muscles, that is starting from thumb. This is our thenar area, and first muscle is flexor pollicis brevis. Now you need to know one thing, that where is it originating from. For that we need to add the connective tissues. Flexor retinaculum. So this is arising from your flexor retinaculum. So this is our flexor pollicis brevis. Then we have opponent's pollicis from your thenar area muscles. So in thenar area we will have three muscles: abductor, flexor, opponents. Abductor I will show you later. Now let me undo what I did. So this is our flexor pollicis brevis. Now this is important. This is important. Why this is important? Let me show you why. We have to see the motion for it. So it will cause thumb flexion. It will cause thumb flexion. Let's say palm faced upwards. So what do you see, my dear beloved students? Where is the finger going? On lateral side, on medial side. Okay. So your hand is going, your thumb is going towards medial side. Okay. So this is the flexion of thumb. At which joint? At this joint, metacarpophalangeal joint, at MCP. Now, so flexor pollicis brevis, so this is our metacarpophalangeal joint, MCP. This is flexed by flexor pollicis brevis. Now we have another muscle, that is this one, flexor pollicis longus, which is inserted here at the base of distal phalanx of the thumb, or second phalanx of the thumb. So this one is flexor 2. So this flexor, what will you do? What will it do? It will flex the thumb at IP joint. Okay. So these are the basics. And when I was a student, everyone would say me that you don't have basic, you don't have basic, you don't have basic. But I didn't know what is basic back then. But right now I know what is basic and why is this so important. Oh, it's giving me so much problem today. Let's just have full body. Okay, so let's just open the hand only. Give me a moment, guys. It's just so irritating. Why is this happening? Just today, I have recommended two or three people about complete anatomy, and complete anatomy is not performing complete today. This is very disappointing, and I really don't know what to do because I'm using it from 2 3 years and it hasn't been like this. Okay, so giving like I don't know, maybe some people have carpal tunnel. So up to now, what did we know that flexor pollicis brevis will flex metacarpophalangeal joint of the thumb, and IP joint will be flexed by flexor pollicis longus. Okay, now so flexor pollicis brevis will take your finger to this side. Okay, to this side. Now there is another muscle that is we call abductor pollicis brevis. So this is longus, which where is the brevis one? This one. So this is our abductor pollicis brevis or APB, and this is our abductor pollicis longus. We need to see their motion. Why this one? Because this will cause thumb abduction. This will cause thumb abduction. That means if your palm is spaced upwards and you need to lift your thumb, you need to use this muscle, abductor pollicis longus. Abductor pollicis longus. You need to use this muscle to lift your thumb above the table. So you need this one from here, from table to lift up, abductor pollicis longus. Okay, so this one is very important. Then we have, just let me show you the just like flexor pollicis longus, we have flexor extensor pollicis longus, which is just at the opposite side of flexor pollicis longus. So at the IP joint, if flexor pollicis longus flexes the IP joint, extensor pollicis longus will extend the IP joint. It will extend the IP joint. That means palm face downwards and finger lift above your table. So palm face downwards, finger lift above the table. So this is your extensor pollicis longus. This is your extensor pollicis longus. The tendon you are seeing, this is your extensor pollicis longus. That is very clear. Okay, very clear. See this one. This one you can see it very clearly. Like this, like this. This. Lift your finger above, and this is your extensor pollicis longus. Now, what are the other muscles you need to know? Almost all of the muscles we have covered. Don't worry about it. Almost all. Now we will just see. Okay. So this is our abductor digiti minimi. Not important. Just know the name from hypothenar eminence. Abductor digiti minimi. Then we hide it. Oh, then we have flexor digiti minimi. Then we have opponents. Where are those? Okay. Now we hide it. Then we have flexor digiti minimi brevis. Anyway. Then we have opponents digiti minimi. Okay, flexor like a small muscle, not brevis. Okay, pardon my mistake. Anyway, so this is your opponents digiti minimi. So all three, these are the hypothenar eminence. Then we hide it. We hide it. Then we have, so abductor pollicis. We really don't need that. Just know it's from thenar eminence. We hide it. So then we have lumbricals. Okay, and interossei. Lumbricals, that means worm-like muscles. Okay. So this is our first lumbrical. This is our first lumbrical. Okay. This is our second lumbrical. We have, this is our third lumbrical. and we have fourth lumbrical. All we need is their motion. So what does they do? They make your hand like lumbrical L. So they are making your hand like L. Okay. So they are making your hand L. So lumbrical will make your hand like this. That is L. Lumbrical will make your hand like this. That is L. Very important, guys. You will forget. You will forget. Watch these classes very carefully. So then we have interossei. In interossei, we have palmar and dorsal. From palmar side, and we will have from dorsal side. Okay. Interossei. You will see it. You will just before the exam, you will feel like, oh my god, it is a gem, and you will see it over and over again. So these are the interossei. What do they do? What do they do? Dorsal interossei will spread your hands, spread your fingers. Okay, spread your fingers like that. Spread your fingers like that. Okay. And palmar interossei will bring your hand together. Bring your fingers together. Bring your fingers together. Close the gap. Palmar interossei. Now you can see that palmar will close the gap. Palmar will close your hands, and dorsal will make gaps in between your fingers. Now, now what do we need? Now, as we have seen all the muscles, we need to see the nerves from here a little bit so we can remember and perform very good in in our exams. But for that, we need to add the muscles too. Otherwise, we will not know which one does what. So now we are going very close. We are getting very close, very close. Why we are going starting from brachial plexus? I will not waste my time here. Not much time. So remember, remember the artery. Let's not add the vein because that's really not important right now. All you need is just the vein, just the artery. We hide it. So this is our first strip. Over first strip, all I told you about scalenus anterior muscles, because if I tell you about all the muscles, you will forget it and you will not know which one is important because our brain is lazy. Our brain is very lazy. It filters out all the unimportant things. That's why I only say only important things. So these are scalenus anterior. Behind that we have our subclavian artery. Then we have, this is our very important, brachial plexus. Roots. First roots here inside we have the roots, and then we have trunks. In between, in between scalenus anterior and your scalenus medius. Scalenus anterior, scalenus medius, anterior, medius. So in between these two, we have the brachial plexus trunks. Roots are very deep. So you can include roots because there are anatomical variations. Some roots come a long way anyway. So what do? We hide it. That's the first important information you need to know. We hide it. So see, here are the roots. Here are the roots. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the lungs a little bit. So what do we think that we will study and then we will see that just these things? No, see, when you go to study, you will see that there are a lot of things you would have missed if you were not in the course, or it will be very tough. So this is our lung. Why this is important? Because this is our apex of the lung. Now, sometimes we have a tumor around it. Now, this is the costal surface. Okay, this is the costal surface, and all across the area we will have this tumor. What will it do? It will compress. And what will it compress? Of course, the lower root or lower trunk of brachial plexus, which is coming from C8 T1 lower trunk, it will compress that. And here we have stellate ganglion 2, stellate ganglion, stellate ganglion 2 from C8 T1. And what will we have? We will have ptosis, meiosis, and hydrosis. That is a very classic question. They will tell you that a person was having pancreas tumor, and it's having ptosis, meiosis, anhydrosis, or claw. So which nerve root is involved? Of course, C81. We will talk about claw. Don't worry about it. So this is the first thing. Then second thing, in relation to what? In relation to your axillary artery, this is called, the cords are named. In relation to your axillary artery, the cords are named lateral, medial, posterior. In relation to your axillary artery, not subclavian. In your exam, a lot of people makes this mistake. This is very easy to make a mistake with it. Anyway, so now let me just show you. So let me hide it. We don't need this. We don't need this. Let me just show you the plexus a little bit. So, okay. So what happens? Upper, middle, and lower trunk. What will they do? They will divide into anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior. Okay. So from upper anterior and middle anterior, let me mark it blue. From upper anterior and from middle anterior, we will have our lateral cord. Lateral cord. Okay, I'm just drawing, not showing it here. Okay. So look, okay, let me upper anterior and middle anterior, it will have lateral cord. Upper anterior, middle anterior. I'll show you again in the notes. Don't worry about it. Then from lower anterior, it will be your medial cord, and all the posterior P will become your posterior cord. Simple and very easy. I will draw and you will just know it within 1 minute. Let me just show you the nerves first. What are the important ones and what are the things you need to know? We hide it. So this is our musculocutaneous nerve. First nerve we need to see. This is our musculocutaneous nerve. First nerve we need to see. Why? Because this is important and you forget it. That's why I keep it at the first. So what I'm going to show you that musculocutaneous nerve is supplying your lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. And of course, here muscular branch we have biceps brachii, brachialis, coracobrachialis, and this area sensory supply. So what do they ask? They will ask you that a person cannot flex his arm. What other problem he might have? So very simple. As it's giving sensory supply to this area, he might lose sensory supply at the forearm. Simple. Sensory supply at the forearm is lost. Now, second important nerve is your median nerve. Let me show you the median nerve. You need to know the course. So this is our median nerve. This is our median nerve. You need to know the course. So median nerve will come along with your brachial artery. Let me show your brachial artery. Another name of humerus is brachii. So that's why it's called brachial artery. Now, how will it? Median nerve is just he loves to, like I would say, cuddle and all that with brachial artery. So what does it do? First, it's on the lateral side. Then it goes above your brachial artery. Then it goes in the medial side. Like this is so cozy, relaxed, and all these cuddling thing. Anyway, so let's just not go too deep into it. Anyway. So lateral, you can see it very clearly and very close. Let me draw it. So first it's lateral, then it's anterior, then it's medial, and your brachial artery just going like this. So lateral, anterior, then medial. This is important, guys, this is very important. Then it will go in front of your medial epicondyle. It will go in front of your medial epicondyle and enter. Let me show you. If you see it, you will remember better. We hide it. It will enter inside your, where is the muscle? Guys, let me add the muscle. Maybe that muscle is not there. Pronator teres. It will enter your pronator teres. It will pierce it. See, it will pierce it, and we can have if we fade it, we can see. See, it will enter inside it. It will enter inside your. It will pierce your pronator teres. Okay, it will pierce it. See, it's piercing it. You can see it. It's piercing it. So it will pierce your pronator teres, and we can have a syndrome that is called pronator teres syndrome. Not important for your exam, but you have to know it. And then in the cubital fossa, what do you have? In the cubital fossa, what do you have? See, from lateral to medial. I will conclude it later on. So in the cubital fossa, median nerve is medial to brachial artery. Median nerve is medial to brachial artery, and biceps tendon is lateral to brachial artery. Lateral to brachial artery in the cubital fossa. So upper limb class is going to be big because you have a lot of a lot of things from upper limb are very important, and that will help you in orthopedics too. That's why I used to show you a lot of things from upper limb anyway. So then median nerve will supply all the long flexors of your arm, all the long flexors of your forearm, forearm, all the long flexor except flexor digitorum profundus medial half plus flexor carpi ulnaris. Only these two. We have it in our notes. Don't worry about it. I will tell you. Then it will go to your hand and it will enter your carpal tunnel, and it will, before entering carpal tunnel, let me add the connective tissue and then nervous layer. Before entering the carpal tunnel, it's giving a branch. See, before giving entering carpal tunnel, it's giving a branch, that is palmar branch, that is over your skin, cutaneous supply, sensory supply. Before entering the carpal tunnel, it has not yet entered the carpal tunnel, but it's giving a palmar branch of median nerve. Then after emerging from carpal tunnel, it will give a branch that is called recurrent branch. This is a muscular branch, and it will supply all the muscles of your thenar eminence, abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, and opponent's pollicis. Okay. So then first see, where does it supply? Then I will talk about injury. Three layer of education you need here, guys. Three layer of education. Anyway, you already know a lot of things. We all know that there are a lot of people who knows a lot of things better than me. But I just want to show you which one is important for your exam, and those you should not miss at all, because this is a cut mark exam, and everyone will answer these things correct. Not everyone is doing my classes, right? Anyway, so then we have digital branch. Okay, so we are having three branches. Number one, palmar cutaneous branch, recurrent branch that is supplying the muscles, and then we have digital branch that's supplying the digits. Which one? Thumb, index, middle finger, and half of your ring finger. Okay, half of your ring finger up to this area, half, plus the nail beds of 1, 2, 3 supplied by median nerve. 1, 2, 3, these three supplied by median nerve. Okay, so then just see, then I will talk about the injury. Then we have ulnar nerve. Let's go about ulnar nerve, then we go to radial. Okay, so ulnar nerve will come down behind your medial epicondyle, guys. This little guy. Who are you? Come close. Okay, you don't want to. So this is your ulnar nerve behind your medial epicondyle. Behind your medial epicondyle. So medial epicondyle is like a sandwich. It's in between your median nerve and ulnar nerve. Okay. M U M epicondyle U. Simple. Just invented it anyway. So ulnar nerve will not supply any forearm muscles except two. That is flexor digitorum profundus medial half plus flexor carpi ulnaris. So my network is really bad today. I don't know. I will just kill them. I don't know. Like I really hate it when my network is bad. That's why I have 50 Mbps speed, man. If it doesn't work properly, this is not acceptable. So then, this is our ulnar nerve, not supplying anything except two muscles that I named. I will show you in the notes. Don't worry. So then, what will happen? It will go before reaching the wrist. It will give a branch. Let me show you. So this is fun, right? I really love these things. Why are you this one? Okay, let me show you from this side. So this branch, that is your dorsal ulnar cutaneous nerve or DUCN, dorsal ulnar cutaneous nerve. This area, dorsal ulnar cutaneous nerve. This area. This area is supplied by your ulnar nerve. Okay. This area is supplied by your dorsal ulnar cutaneous nerve or DUCN arising from proximal to the wrist joint. Arising from proximal to the wrist joint from up. Okay. So it will supply your 1.5 fingers plus nail bed. One, this half, and nail bed of last two. Nail bed of first three supplied by median nerve. These are very important. They ask you these questions. They ask you these questions, guys. Don't make a mistake with it. Then we have near wrist. It will give one palmar branch just like median nerve. One palmar branch, that is this one. Palmar branch will supply the skin over your hypothenar eminence. Okay, skin over your hypothenar eminence will be supplied by your palmar branch. Then we will have inside. Let me show you one thing. Inside your a canal. Sorry, guys. Inside a canal that is called Guyon's canal. Where is it? So before entering the canal, it gives dorsal ulnar cutaneous branch. So ulnar nerve, and let me hide the connective tissue and you can see it properly. Let me hide the muscles too. See, here you can see it. In between these two, this is our pisiform, this is our hook of Hammett, and this is the canal, like Suez Canal. But this is not Suez Canal. This is Guyon's Canal. And here we have ulnar nerve medially or ulnar side. And here we have ulnar artery laterally or in radial side. And they give you this question that ulnar nerve is ulnar to ulnar artery. So ulnar nerve is ulnar to ulnar artery. How? Just see it. Everything I have explained beautifully. So clearing our 2D pen, then you might be thinking, do I need this arch, superficial palmar arch, deep palmar arch for part 1? No. For part B, yes. Like I don't know much about part B. I have to give this exam, but know a little bit anyway. So 1.5 finger. One. This is one complete one plus nail bed, and this half. You need to know this half. That this half of ring finger supplied by ulnar nerve. Now we are moving on to our, and what are the muscles? All the intrinsic muscles of the hand are supplied by ulnar nerve. All the intrinsic muscles of the hand are supplied by ulnar nerve except your thenar eminence muscle. Thenar eminence muscle. Okay, all the intrinsic muscles of the hand are supplied by ulnar nerve. So whatever motion I have showed you from lumbricals, okay, from lumbricals. Then we have this one, oblique head of adductor pollicis. This one, deep branch of ulnar nerve. Okay, okay. Let me tell you. Let me just tell me again. So this is DUCN. Then we have palmar branch. Then we have digital branch. Then we have a deep branch. This deep branch of ulnar nerve supplies all the muscles. That is lumbricals. I just have showed you. Then we have PAD, pad and dab. Let me just show you. You will remember better. So where are the pad and dab? So this is our interosseous. This is our palmar interossei, closing the fingers, closing the gaps of the fingers, palmar interossei. Then we have dorsal interossei, spreading the fingers. Then we have dorsal interossei, spreading the fingers like this, spreading the fingers. So this is our dorsal interossei. Then other function you don't need, just the ones I tell you, because there are a lot of things. You are not going to be, you are not going to be an anatomy specialist. You are going to be a surgeon. So you need to know only surgically important ones. Okay. So
आपके
then we
किडनी
have,
तो ठीक है उसका कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ठीक है
then we have adductor. Okay, adductor that is supplied by deep branch and this one. So adductor, it will add. It's working now. So this portion, like this portion, adding the fingers, adding your thumb with other fingers, adding your thumb with other finger, thumb, add, thumb, add. This is supplied by deep branch of ulnar nerve. So all these muscles are supplied by ulnar nerve. Let me summarize. What are those? Those are your hypothenar eminence muscles. Okay. Then we have lumbricals. Then we have pad. Then we have dab. Okay. Then we have adductor pollicis. All of these muscles are supplied by ulnar nerve. Then we move on to radial nerve. I will show you. Then from note, I will tell you all the injuries. Or if it's too late, I will just make a record and upload it. Don't worry about it. Then this is our triceps muscle. So what happens? This is our triceps track. Sorry guys, triceps like, okay. So here we have some spaces. Okay, let me show you the spaces first. Then we will be very clear about the radial nerve. We hide it. Oh, I have removed the triceps. Okay, just first I will show you the course of radial nerve. So radial nerve will come out through our triangular interval, and okay, here we have our quadrangular space. Let me add the muscle. We hide it. So you can see it. That this is our quadrangular space. 4. Like 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. So this is quadrangular space. Okay. So quadrangular space, we have axillary nerve coming out and your circumflex humeral artery. Okay. Circumflex humeral artery, which is being a round around your surgical neck of the humerus. Just know the components. So these four, these are quadrangular space. These are triangular interval. In triangular interval, we have two things. That is your This one not important, but this one here, this one is a profunda brachii artery. Profunda brachii. That's the nutritious artery of your humerus. Okay, guys, that is your, we hide it and we will say that this is giving the periosteal supply. Periosteum, it supplies, periosteum contains the blood supply of the bone, right? And it will supply your bone. This is very deep, that's why it's named deep brachial artery or profunda brachii. It will go along with your radial nerve through the spiral groove, and radial nerve at the lower third will come in front of your lateral epicondyle. In front of your lateral epicondyle, it will come in front of your lateral epicondyle and enter inside your supinator. We hide it and we can see it will be entering inside the supinator. We have it all written in our notes, and you will just see that these are very easy. So now, just one thing. So this is our radial nerve in front of our lateral epicondyle. This radial nerve will give a deep branch and one superficial branch. This superficial branch will not supply anything, just go down, 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 down. I'll show you. Then deep branch, after some time, it will be named, it will spiral around your radial head. Let me just show you that. So this is our supinator, and see, radial nerve is going inside two heads of the supinator. Inside supinator, see, inside supinator. If we fade it, we can see that it's entering inside supinator and looping around your radial head, looping around your radial head. So then it will be named as posterior interosseous nerve. After some time, after crossing, it will be named as your posterior interosseous nerve or pin, that will supply all your extensor muscles of the hand, all your finger extensors and wrist extensors, and all those will be supplied. Okay, then we have superficial branch which will supply this distinct area, this area, only this area will be supplied by your superficial radial nerve. Superficial radial nerve, superficial radial nerve, this area, this is a sensory nerve, that is purely sensory, and superficial radial nerve will supply this area and all this area of sensory supply. First 1, 2, 3 and 0.5, 3.5. This area sensory supply is supplied by your superficial radial nerve. So we are done with our anatomy model, and I'll be taking a 5-minute break and starting our, okay guys, starting our notes. Axilla, not important, just for orientation, just see the boundaries, no question comes from here, just for orientation about the total area. Okay, then we have axillary lymph node group. Remember the names: apical, anterior, central, posterior, lateral, and 3 levels. What are the levels? It depends on pectoralis minor muscles. Lateral to pectoralis minor, we have level 1. Behind pectoralis minor, we have below or lateral, whatever you said. Behind, we have level 2, and above, we have level 1 lymph nodes. Now, all of the lymph nodes are cleared during mastectomy. Okay, if they are metastasized or sentinel lymph node is positive, they don't ask, just remember the levels. You know, first group will go to apical. First metastasis will go to apical. Then muscles of the upper limb. Now, guys, from muscles of the upper limb, just the way I told you, deltoid, teres minor, teres major, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, you know, actions of all of them, and nerve supply. I've already shown you axillary nerve, lower subscapular nerve, upper and lower subscapular nerve, very important. And action medially rotates the arm, only one. Other than that, others abduction. Supraspinatus, first 15-degree supraspinatus, 15 to 90-degree deltoid, over 90-degree trapezius. Okay, then only these things. Then muscles of pectoral region, not important at all. You can give a reading if you want. Other than that, if you not needed at all. Then we have muscles of the forearm. Now, from muscles of the forearm, do you need to know like compartments, superficial, deep? Do you need that? No, they don't ask. For answering the questions, you need that. For answering the questions like from injury and the muscles I mentioned, only those are important. Still, let me tell you all the important ones. Okay. So first, remember it's a flexor compartment and most of the muscles are flexors. Okay, in front of your hand, in front. Okay, all of the muscles are flexors, almost all of them. Okay, in the forearm. Like what about upper arm? We already told you just those three you need to remember: biceps, brachialis, coracobrachialis, and posteriorly triceps. We all know that. No need to exaggerate or add anything else. So from the forearm, remember flexor. Okay, flexor, one on radial side, one on ulnar side, up to carpal bone. So it's named flexor up to carpal bone, carpi radialis ulnaris. Okay, you don't need superficial deep. All you need to know is the name. They don't ask. Later on, you can just divide it into superficial and deep. Okay. Then, then we have flexor up to digits. So they will be named flexor digitorum, flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus. Remember what I said, that flexor anything like, let's say Confucius, let's say Socrates, what did they do? They said very deep words and we call it profound. So profound means deep simply. So flexor digitorum profundus, flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay. Then we have up to flexor one up to your thumb, which we call it pollicis. So we call it flexor pollicis longus. Okay. Flexor pollicis longus. Now, what are the other things? Okay, we have P. P for pronator teres and quadratus. One at the top, one at near your wrist, and another P, palmaris longus. Okay, so flexor up to carpal bone, flexor carpi radialis, flexor carpi ulnaris, flexor digitorum superficialis, profundus. Then we have up to thumb, flexor pollicis longus. Okay. Then we have pronator teres and quadratus. Then we have palmaris longus. So among them, if you want to remember separately, remember flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus, and pronator quadratus are the deep ones. Are the deep ones. All the others are superficial ones. Okay. So these are muscles of your forearm. Now, muscles of your forearm, anterior side or flexor side. Okay. Then we have extensor side. So these are just the names. Okay, all you need are the names. Do you need to know the actions? From the actions, we just like I told you that flexor digitorum superficialis. You need to know flexor digitorum superficialis where it's attached and its action. Only this one. And flexor digitorum profundus where it's inserted and its action. Okay, of course, median nerve we will talk about it during our separate nerve sections. Okay, flexor pollicis longus, insertion, and action. Only these three from muscles of the forearm flexor. Then extensor. See, from extensor, they don't like in part B, you have to see and know all the extensors. But for part A, as this is an MCQ exam, only thing we need to know the names and insertion of only one or two. I will tell you, and compartment. Okay, now what are those? Remember. So this is mainly extensor compartment, extensor up to carpal bone. So extensor carpi radialis, extensor carpi ulnaris. In case of radialis, we have longus, we have brevis. Simple. Okay. Then we have up to digits, extensor digitorum. Then we have extensor digiti minimi. Then we have extensor digiti minimi and extensor up to index. We have extensor indices. So all of these are about digits. So in digits we have three. Okay. Then we have thumb. So up to thumb from your lateral epicondyle. Okay, from your lateral epicondyle, that is a common extensor origin. Okay, lateral epicondyle. Lateral epicondyle. Okay, so we have up to thumb, extensor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, and with that we have one abductor pollicis longus. Okay, we have one abductor pollicis longus. So these are the only important muscles. Others like enconias, of course we have brachioradialis, but you don't really need that. They don't ask any question about from those brachioradialis and conias, not needed at all. Okay, not needed at all. So you can just forget it. Now, what do you need from this chart? See, you need to know from here abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus. All these three insertion. Where in the thumb? Okay, where in the thumb? I will show you during injury because we need to know. So extensor where in the thumb? See, if this is our metacarpal bone, this is our first phalanx, this is our second phalanx. So at the base of second phalanx, we have extensor pollicis longus. At the base of first phalanx, we have extensor pollicis brevis and abductor pollicis brevis. The place is different, but these two are here at this side and EPL at this side like this. We have pictures, don't worry. So only these and action action of this one, abduction of the thumb. Make the thumb 90-degree while palm faced upwards. Then extensor pollicis brevis. Mark my words, guys. These are very important. They will ask you questions from here. Then extensor pollicis brevis, not so important. They don't ask. They don't ask. But this one, lift the finger. Lift finger above table when palm faced downwards. So if this is palm face downwards, you lift the finger above table like this. Lift the finger. This is done by extensor pollicis longus. And the IP joint. The IP joint is extended by extensor pollicis longus. IP joint is extended by interphalangeal joint, extended by extensor pollicis longus. So only these three. And about nerve supply, I'm talking about it. Don't worry about it. But here you need to know that posterior interosseous nerve supplies almost all the extensors. All the wrist extensor, finger extensor are supplied by posterior interosseous nerves. From here, like flexor, all the flexor muscles, all the long flexors are supplied by median nerve, except FDP, medial half, and flexor carpi ulnaris supplied by ulnar nerve. When I will talk about the injury, we'll be very clear about it. Then you have anterior interosseous nerve. Okay, I will show you later on. Here we have later on. We have it later on. Then we have thumb muscles, hand muscles. What do we have in hand? I have showed you that we have this thinner eminence and we have hypothinner eminence. So in thinner eminence and hypothinner eminence, we have so in thinner eminence and hypothinner eminence, we have three muscles. Okay, three muscles. So abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, and opponent's pollicis. And another one, that is adductor. This is supplied by ulnar nerve. This movement is supplied by ulnar nerve. This one, adduct, add the finger. Okay. So abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, and opponent's pollicis. Opponents. Flexor like this. Flexor, flex the finger. Flex the finger. So these three muscles are supplied by median nerve. I will take about that. Take about Sorry, guys. Talk about that later. And hypothenor muscle. Hypothenor muscle, I have told you that same thing. Abductor, flexor, opponents. Just digiti minimi. Just add digiti minimi with it. Best. Simple as that. Simple. Now, so these are the muscles I have already shown you. Now about your action and nerve supply. If you want, you can read it from here like this one. This one. Then so the thinner eminence is supplied by median nerve and hypothinner is by ulnar nerve, except adduction. Okay, adductor pollicis, this one, deep branch of ulnar nerve. When I will talk about individual nerves, you will see it all. Don't worry about it. Then we have lumbricals, four lumbricals, and eight palmar and dorsal interosseous. I have already shown you. Then lumbricals, only the problem with lumbricals, that is four lumbricals. We divide it in two. So we have medial 2 and lateral 2. Medial 2 is supplied by ulnar nerve and lateral 2 is supplied by median nerve. Median nerve and function this L. Function this L. This is done by lumbrical. So these are about the muscles. And extensor compartment, remember first compartment and third compartment. These two compartment, you must remember these two compartment components. Must, because these are the boundary of anatomical snuff box. Okay. Then here we have written down only the things what I have told you. Okay, interossei supplied by ulnar nerve, median nerve. When we study all the nerves, and you will know it very easy. Then flexion of wrist, MCP, PIP, DIP. Okay, wrist, MCP, and PIP joint. This is flexed by flexor digitorum superficialis and flexor digitorum profundus, both action. But only DIP, distal interphalangeal joint, is supplied by FDP, which I have shown you. Okay, these are 100% important. They ask you questions. I will show you, don't worry about it. And here we have thinner and hypothinner eminence, 100%. You must remember all the names. Then we have brachial plexus. Now I'm going to show you the brachial plexus. That's very simple and easy. So what happens in brachial plexus? We have roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and nerves. Okay. So we have C5, C6, C7, C8, T1. So we have these are the roots. Okay. So we have upper trunk. Then we have okay. So two roots, upper two, C5 and C6 will make upper trunk. C7 will make middle trunk and lower two will make lower trunk. All of these three will give two divisions, anterior, posterior. Let me change the color. Anterior, posterior. Okay. Posterior, posterior, posterior. So this is your anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior. Okay. So now what happens? Anterior from upper trunk and anterior from middle trunk will make lateral cord. Okay. So let me add these two anterior. Anterior from upper trunk and anterior from middle trunk will make lateral cord. Lateral cord. Okay. Then your anterior from lower trunk will make medial cord. Medial cord. And all your posterior will make posterior cord. Posterior cord. Okay. So from there we will have all our nerves of our upper arm. Now what are those? See. So three cords. Let's start with lateral. From lateral, it's very easy. We have lateral pectoral nerve and musculocutaneous nerve. But just remember musculocutaneous nerve. Musculocutaneous, which supplies your biceps brachii, brachialis, coracobrachialis plus lateral arm supply. Okay. Lateral forearm. Sorry guys. Lateral forearm. This area. Like your brachioradialis over your lateral forearm is supplied by this. So this is a perfectly named lateral cord. Okay. Then we have medial cord. From and of course medial lateral head of medial nerve, right? But you can just remember musculocutaneous nerve. Okay. From there we have M for U. What is M for U? That means M, 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 and U. Okay. So from medial cord, we will have median nerve. We will have medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. We have medial pectoral nerve, and we have lateral pectoral nerve from here. Like first you remember these, then if you can remember those. Then we have ulnar. But do you need to know all of them? M for you, it's very easy to remember. But if you can't remember, just remember median nerve and ulnar nerve. Both are coming from medial cord. Both are coming from medial cord. Okay. Then we have posterior cord. From posterior cord, we have ulnar, except ulnar nerve. Because ulnar nerve is from medial cord. Simple. So from posterior cord, we have upper and lower, that is UL, subscapular nerve. Upper and lower subscapular nerve. Then we have nerve to latissimus dorsi, that is called thoracodorsal nerve also. Thoracodorsal, which helps you give push up. Okay. Then we have axillary and radial. I'm running out of space, guys. Sorry, guys. Give me space. So upper and lower subscapular nerve. Then we have nerve to latissimus dorsi. Then we have axillary, which supplies your deltoid and teres minor. Then we have radial nerve, which supplies triceps at your arm and all the extensor of your wrist, finger at your in your forearm and after that. Okay, so this is our all the chords. So this is very easy. Now, are these the end? No. We have to know some other branches which are from the trunk and other places, like upper trunk. From upper trunk, we have suprascapular nerve, which supplies supraspinatus and infraspinatus. Okay. Then we have long thoracic nerve. Long thoracic nerve from trunks C5, 6, 7. All these things. Now you might be thinking, so how we are supposed to remember all of this? These are all in our notes, guys. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Here we have it all the chords and the names. M for U. Then we have al nar. Okay, so this thoracodorsal is N. Then we have long thoracic nerve C5, 6, 7, supplying serratus anterior. Then we have suprascapular nerve supplying supraspinatus, infraspinatus, very important. Here we have total nerve 15 branches from root, branches from trunk, only from upper trunk we have subclavius and suprascapular nerve, very important. This one after you study, we study all the nerves, we will study it, okay? Then ARP palsy and Klumpke's paralysis also at the last when we have finished all the specific nerves, all the individual nerves. So first we will be starting with uh, long thoracic nerve. Long thoracic nerve C567 very important that supplies serratus anterior. Why we start with this? Because winging of scapula. So this is called boxer's muscle and this is winging of scapula. In case of axillary lymph node clearance, here we have our pectoralis minor. Axillary lymph node clearance. So see this is medial to serratus anterior. Mark my words, very important. Medial to serratus anterior because all the things like I every before every night I sit with all the questions up to now. So what happens? I see what are the changes they are making. Like they are asking question from thoracodorsal nerve, but what are they asking these days? They asked that medial to serratus anterior. What's the position of your long thoracic nerve? Which side? Medial side. It's medial to serratus anterior. Simple as that. Just remember what I say. So if this is injured, we have winging of scapula. And what are the possibilities of this getting injured? Axillary lymph node clearance. Axillary lymph node clearance. So we have written it here. Mastectomy, axillary lymph node clearance. Very important, very easy. Suprascapular nerve. Remember the root value. Very important. Sometimes they will tell you that a person cannot initiate shoulder abduction. If a person cannot initiate shoulder abduction, what will come to your mind? One muscle is paralyzed. Which muscle is paralyzed? Supraspinatus. Number two, that which nerve is related or which nerve is injured. Why this muscle is paralyzed? Because the nerve is not working. Simple. So, which nerve? Suprascapular nerve. Suprascapular nerve. Now, third question, they will just ask you, a person cannot initiate shoulder abduction. Which nerve root might be involved? Which nerve root might be involved? Simple C5. Easy. So in case of C5 injury, we will have supra and infraspinatus paralysis. Just like I showed you that abduction will be impaired in case of that, and person cannot externally rotate the arm. Externally rotate like this. Person cannot do this. Person cannot externally rotate or spread his hand, the arm. Okay. So these two will happen in case of C5 paralysis. Now, so this is the scenario. Everything is written, and all these things I have told you 100% important. You must remember all of these things line by line. Otherwise, I will come and get you. Okay, I will not. Don't worry about it. So musculocutaneous nerve, you must remember the root value because of the question pattern. You have to know that what are the function that will be impaired as it supply biceps brachii, brachialis, coracobrachialis, which is least important of your life now, and brachialis is also not so important. So elbow flexion will be impaired if you remember the skeleton moving his hand up. Supination is impaired plus lateral forearm sensation, this green area, lateral forearm sensation is lost. Simple. So I have written it down here too. So this part, read it all. 100% important. 100% important. Okay, 100%. Then we have axillary nerve root value, very important. C56, you must remember it. Supplying deltoid muscle and small patch of skin which is called regimental badge area and coming out through your quadrangular space or Q. Okay, quadrangular space or Q. So how? So this is symbolic, right? Why I'm see quadrangular space Q. I write it so that you can just relate that. So this is axillary nerve coming out from Q. Simple. And that's why people don't forget when they do my classes. So regimental badge area, 100% important. All three are potential questions of your exam. All three are potential questions, guys. Who will be more specific? I don't know, guys. What will happen when I die? Anyway, I'm very worried about MRC's exam. Anyway, guys, I know. Like other people will come. I know. Don't worry. Just making me feel important. Anyway. So axillary nerve and your circumflex, circumflex humeral artery. Where is it? You don't. You can give a reading here, but the main thing is here. Just this box will be enough. Just this box. Quadrangular space, triangular interval, boundary, superior, inferior, middle, 100% important, and humeral shaft and content, 100% important. Of course, 100% important. Of course, they will ask you questions from it. Definitely, they will ask you questions from here. Then we have individual main nerves, main three nerves. Hold tight, guys. This is going to be fun. Now, what are the main nerves? Will that be hard? No. When I tell you, there will be nothing hard. I will make things simple as water. Anyway, so you just draw one line, guys, one line, and you already have seen the course that's written in the note, so you studied from there. It will just come out and then go through spiral groove. Then let's say this is our lateral epicondyle. Okay, before that it is supplying triceps, after that it is supplying all extensors. Okay, here I need to make some change. Let me just, so this one line after crossing lateral epicondyle in front of your lateral epicondyle, it will go down and give two branches. One is deep branch, one is superficial branch. This deep branch will be named posterior interosseous nerve, which will supply your all wrist extensor, finger extensor. Simple. This superficial radial nerve is a purely sensory branch. Purely sensory branch, which will supply your dorsum of hand. In written form, in written form, a special area, number one, an isolated area in between your thumb and index. That is your this area, this isolated area, only this area, this part is supplied by your superficial radial nerve and isolatedly. Okay. And other parts, this is the lateral side, thumb side. So lateral side, these three and ring finger half, except the nail bed not included, nail bed not included. So all of these are supplied by your radial nerve up to this area, up to this area. Okay, up to this area. This sensory supply is given by radial nerve. So this area, and here we have the picture. Just remember this area except the nail bed, and this is area of isolated supply of your radial nerve. So that means this area has overlapping from median nerve and ulnar nerve, but this area does not have any overlap. What does that mean? See, injury pattern. What will happen if individual nerve is damaged? First, I will tell you about that. So, number one, if superficial radial nerve is damaged, what will happen? We will only lose sensation of isolated area. Okay. And sensation of dorsum of hand, first three fingers, 3.5, except nail bed. So this is the first scenario, that is only superficial radial nerve injured. Superficial radial nerve if injured. So for that we have to have the injury, of course, after lateral epicondyle. Simple, because it arises from after lateral epicondyle. And in case of this level injury we can have it, but that's less common because that will injure this one too. We'll talk about that. So if after, so the injury, so this will be the scenario, and the injury most commonly will be below elbow joint. So I have told you that if this nerve is damaged, if this nerve is damaged, what will be the scenario? Or if you have this scenario, which nerve is damaged and where is the most possible injury? So these are the questions they ask you in exam specifically. Specifically, they will ask you these questions. Then we have pin, all the finger extensors, wrist extensors, finger extensors. Now, if a person cannot extend his wrist, so his wrist will be dropped like this. Okay. And if a person cannot extend his fingers, so her wrist will be, fingers will drop too. Simple. So we will have wrist drop, finger drop. Okay. So, and what will happen if we have these extensions impaired? If you want to grab this pen or suitcase or hold something tightly, what do you need to do? First, you need to extend your hand and then you have to hold it. So, in case of your radial nerve injury, okay, I will talk about that later, or pin injury, you will lose grip strength too. So, let me just add here, lose grip strength. Grip strength reduced. Simple. So in that case, so if pin is injured, we will have these manifestations. What are the other manifestations specifically? See, a question is very famous these days, that palm is face downwards and person cannot lift his thumb over the table, which I have told you almost 30 times in this class. Who is doing this? Who is doing this? Extensor pollicis longus, and you can see the tendon. See, very clearly you can see it in my hand. When I upload the video, you will be able to see it. So this is extensor pollicis longus, which lifts the finger above the table when palm is faced downwards. So EPL, that is supplied by also pin. So this is an isolated manifestation, that is person cannot lift thumb above table and cannot extend IP joint. I will talk about that later. Okay, so this is the IP joint. This joint is IP joint, right? This is the IP joint. This one. So this one is the IP joint, and this IP joint is extended by this joint, extended by EPL and flexed by FPL, flexor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis longus, flexor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis longus. So this action is done by EPL. Now what happens? If you have a pin injury, you will have these manifestations. They will mention only one, that a 20-year-old person came to you with a wrist drop. Which nerve is injured? Answer give me in the comments, or whenever you watch the class, or if you watch it in YouTube, you write it down there. Okay. So if a person has a finger drop, or in our group, you write it down. Finger drop, which nerve is injured? Specifically, pin, of course. So this is the one type of question that person has only these manifestation will come in your exam. Only specifically these manifestation. It's not like they will give some other manifestation and ask you no. No. They will just give only these. Wrist drop, finger drop, loose grip strength. These are the only manifestation they will give you in your exam. So person cannot lift the thumb above the table, extend IP joint, which nerve is injured? So first question, which nerve is injured? This is the first type of question, which nerve. Second type of question, they will ask you, where is the injury? Where is the injury? Of course, remember, so this is the smart way to ask the course. Okay, where is the injury? Do you remember how did pin came? What did I tell you? That it will cross lateral epicondyle radial nerve, and what will happen? It will divide into two branches, superficial radial and deep radial. Now deep radial crosses radial head. Radial head. Simple. So most common cause of pin injury is radial head fracture. Radial head fracture. So injury must be below elbow. Where is the injury? Of course, below elbow at radial head, or near wrist can happen too. Near wrist at radial side. Near wrist can happen too, but below elbow, that's the most important thing. Then comes above elbow. What do we have? So triceps is supplied at this area. If we divide it into three parts, upper third, middle third, lower third. Okay. Three kind of fractures, and what will happen? See, if upper third is injured, so we will lose triceps function. We will lose superficial radial nerve function. We will lose pin function. Upper third, because triceps is supplied at this area. So if we have an injury here, we will have this. Simple, because anytime there's an injury, below that everything will be gone. Every single function will be gone. Okay, let's say middle third. If we have an injury at this place, that is middle third, what will happen? Triceps is already supplied. Triceps is already supplied. So triceps will be okay. Person will be able to extend the elbow joint, but superficial radial nerve and pin will be gone. So we will have sensory loss. We will have a wrist drop. We will have finger drop. And of course, if we have wrist drop, finger drop, we will have loose grip strength. Grip strength. Very simple. Now let's say lower third injury. Lower third injury is simple. So 2 and 3 will give the same manifestation. Same. But in between these two, 3 is the most common type of fracture. Fracture of lower third of humerus is the most common type. So what are the things you need to know? Lower third is the most common type of fracture. Fracture of lower third is the most common type of fracture you will find in your exam and in your clinical life too. And lower third of humeral fracture usually traps, of course, radial nerve. Of course, radial nerve, because it's crossing. So this area is very vulnerable. It will trap this area. And what will be the manifestation? Superficial radial nerve, that is sensory loss, and pin injury, that is pin manifestation. Very simple. Then, so these are all the injuries about radial nerve. So if we summarize it in one word, they will give you places. Mostly fracture of lower third of humerus. Triceps will be okay. Pin, superficial radial nerve, gone. Elbow. After elbow, they give you manifestation. Superficial radial nerve, pin. They will ask you sensory, and pin is all the drop. So they will give you one manifestation. Let's say this is one, this is two. If one is given, superficial radial nerve injury. If two is given, pin injury. Simple. If 1 plus 2 both is gone, they say both is gone, which nerve is injured? Answer will be radial nerve injured. Of course, at the root it's injured, so radial nerve will be injured. Simple. Now, there are some, these are all about radial nerve injury. All, these are the all radial nerve injury. Nothing else you need to know. Everything I have explained. Okay. Now, here we have the chart. Here we have the chart. Whatever I have told you up to now, here I have written it down. Purely sensory and pain, and then you have muscular branches to triceps brachii. Just remember triceps. Then you have these sensory supplies. Not so important, but still we have time. You study. Okay. So continuation of cord of brachial plexus. You must know the this one. Then the continuation. Just give a reading. All of the three parts is important, especially this part and this part. These are 100% important, guys. They ask you questions from here. These days they ask a lot of questions, guys. So then you have another some isolated question from pin. What are that? That is, person cannot extend ip joint. Ip joint is extension is done by EPL, which is supplied by pin. Then person cannot lift finger above table while palm faced downwards. Pinned. Simple. Now thing is, what happens? They will give you scenario. The person having a fracture, then he has a cast. So what do we do before the cast? We do nerve examination, right? So nerve can be okay. So after cast, person cannot lift finger. So most commonly it's the problem of the tendon, EPL tendon or muscle. Oh, of course, if there was a muscle tear, that person would not be able to have cast for a long time, right? So mostly it's tendon, EPL tendon injury. But if there is a stab, if there's a stab at forearm, if there's a stab at forearm, what will happen? Then muscle injury, muscle paralysis due to pin injury. So in that case, tendon is not injured. There is no cast. Don't worry about it. We will talk about this in orthopedics and in recalls revisions too. If these questions are important for your diet, what do I do? Basic classes are almost same. Okay, just 2 3 new topics added. But in recalls revisions after January exam, I will add new topics in. Like not new topics, I will refine it. That for your diet, which is specifically very important. Then comes your, and here we have different level of injury. First you see the class properly and you will be, these will be very easy. So in case of axilla, we have Saturday night palsy. Okay, we have Saturday night palsy or crotch palsy. We all know. Just give a reading and you will understand what's written here. Not so important. You don't ask these questions. Give a reading. Just remember where it enters. Then ulnar nerve. Very, very important. You all know.